Hello and welcome to the session on how to read the Hindu newspaper. This session is for students in high schools who are studying a variety of general subjects and also planning for some competitive examinations or other entrance examinations for higher education. As you all know, the Hindu is one of the oldest newspapers in the world. It is also one of the oldest English newspapers in India and elsewhere. It has recently celebrated its 142nd birthday. We are all very proud to be associated with the newspaper, and we are also proud that during our growing up years, our personality was largely shaped by reading the Hindu and other publications of the Hindu family like Frontline and Sportstar, and also being part of the large group of journalists who are in search of truth and trying to tell facts and place them in front of the people in a manner that they easily understand. So we will try and look for different sections of the Hindu newspaper and how to maximize our needs of understanding the world, India and the state, and how to make sure that it helps us not only in our academic but also co-curricular development. So we'll just try to look at various sections of the Hindu. Every young man, including myself, every young man starts reading the newspaper from the sports page. Most of us have grown up by taking the newspaper and going to the last page and trying to read it from there. At one point of time, most of us have tried it or we have done it for a long time. So we will try to look at the sports page first. This usually appears on the last page or at the end of the main segment or in between the newspaper where there is a double floor with colored pictures and background. So here we have a total page dedicated to sports in which there are different types of sports. Of course, because IPL is going on, there is a large amount of space devoted to cricket. Then there is a news about football. Then there is news about basketball. And then there is a Sudoku section here. And there are briefs related to different sports events. Now, what do you look for in a sports page? A lot of people may wonder that if they watch the cricket matches on TV whole day, why should they read a newspaper the next day? The only point is, when you are watching TV, you are part of the action and your dominating emotion is either joy or sadness, because you are supporting either one of the two teams or you are supporting one of the many players. Why do you need to read sports in the newspaper? Is to get perspective. So what is perspective? Perspective is an informed and balanced opinion. Why do we need perspective? We need to understand perspective because we have to go beyond the immediate emotion of winning or losing. Every game, including the game of chess, is based on cool decision making, hard work and instinct which comes on the spot. To understand how our heroes did in yesterday's match, we need to sit down and take a closer look at the scores and the opinion that has come to decide the scores. Then we will come to the front page, which is probably the most important part of a newspaper. When you are free, you go museum.com. It is about a news museum in America. Museum carries the front pages of almost all possible newspapers in the world, or whatever newspaper its front page is available in e-format. All those front pages are collected. One of the most famous campaigns that museum did was to carry the front pages on the day Barack Obama became the president of America. There are more than 300 front pages on that day which carried. There are some newspapers in America which carried a full page or even the full paper full of news about the new president. And there are some newspapers which did not even carry even one line about Mr. Barack Obama becoming president. So this is the range of news and opinion about news. So what do we have in the front page? Everybody knows that the name of the newspaper appears on top. This is called the masthead. It has 2-3 very important things. One is the place and date, price of the newspaper. Then there is, now we have, because of new media, all the online links on various social media that the Hindu is available on is printed here. And then there is our sacred logo on top, and then it states that it is India's national newspaper since 1878. Then there are small bits. There is one bit here which speaks about probably the most important bit of news that you should understand on that day. Then there is a international development, there is a national development, and there is a state development. There are 2-3 items about state related developments, and then there is a national level story about health, because we are all undergoing the after effects of an epidemic. So this is about COVID. And then there is a opinion related news about Akali Dal moving out of India because it does not agree with its policies on the farm bill. So what do we look for in a front page? Most newspaper readers tend to read the front page and end their readings, but it is always advisable that you go through the whole newspaper and not just the headline. Headline is, and the front page is only eye-catching. It is only eye-catching, and it gives you tidbits about the most important news of that day. Here you can see that after a news bit, there is one line which says that Karnataka page 6, classifieds page 2, magazine 8 pages. This means that here also after this news item it says continued on page 7. So only a small piece of the important news is carried on the front page, and then the rest of the news is carried in the other pages of the newspaper. So we have seen that only a small piece that is needed for the reader in a hurry, that is taken on the front page depending upon its importance, and the rest of the news is carried in the other pages. So now we have finished the front page. Front page reading is very important if you need to be trendy. If you are to be part of any informed conversation in your home or among your friends, you should know what has appeared in today's front page. The very famous question in an IAS interview to one of the officers who is now in Karnataka. She was a lady. She was asked by the IAS interview board, what do you think will be the headline in the newspaper tomorrow? That girl was very well read and she guessed it because next day ISRO was planning to launch a satellite. She told that it will be the successful launching of a satellite, and she got the job. Of course, she was very good in other accounts also. So this is what happens is, what do you think is important and what do others think is important? That is a factor in deciding what goes in the front page. And then here we come to state pages. As you can see, there is Karnataka written here, and the date and name of the paper are all on this side. So there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 items on this page. This is mostly about the Karnataka Assembly legislature session that is going on in Bangalore. They are discussing various subjects. However, there are 1 or 2 important subjects they have discussed. Here you see, there is a labor bill that is defeated by the Legislative Council. So as you all know, Assembly has 2 houses. One is called the Legislative Assembly, another is called the Legislative Council. These 2 legislature houses, they are supposed to think, discuss, debate, deliberate on various issues and then give their assent. Because the ruling party has a majority in the Karnataka Legislative Assembly, it had passed a bill. However, it was not passed in the Legislative Councils because they don't have a commanding majority. Secondly, there is a news about the Chief Minister offering to resign. This is a response to allegations made by the opposition 2-3 days ago that there is a large scale corruption in Bangalore Development Authority and that the Chief Minister's family members were involved in the corruption. So, Mr. Editorials, who is the Chief Minister, he has said that there is no corruption, and if you can prove that there is corruption, I will not only resign from my post but also retire from active politics. This is his opinion. Then here we come to a decision taken by the government and announced in the floor of the house, where he says that the minister plans to hasten means to speed up land acquisition for a water project. And then there is a state government bill which was recommended by the center and passed by the state government. It is the APMC bill. And then there is a no confidence motion which was put up by the opposition but it was defeated by the majority. Then there is Karnataka Assembly adopting 2 bills about agriculture. Then there is here, this is a crime related news. There was a riot in a place called Devarjivanhalli in Bangalore. So there is a discussion on that in the assembly. Leader of the opposition says that it was neither communal nor planned. So then there is a photo, and what is written below the photo is called a caption. It tries to explain what is in the photo. So it says that the view of the Legislative Assembly Hall during the session on Saturday and special arrangement. It means that the newspapers photographers have not taken the photo, somebody has taken the photo and we are printing it. Then there is opposition to change formulas. So then there is some non-legislative group which is trying to oppose the agriculture related laws in the state. Then there is an item about IISc developing an indigenous COVID diagnostic kit. Indigenous means whatever has been developed locally. So IISc scientists have developed a kit which can detect if a person has COVID infection or not. This was given, this information is given by the Indian Institute of Science and it was carried by the newspapers. Then there is a small advertisement here. Now let us go to the main pages. Various subjects are covered in the newspaper like current affairs, sports, science, politics, national and international affairs, music, arts, culture, literature and opinion. The opinion pages are also called editorial pages. They are usually carried throughout the week but not on weekends. So here we have a national page which is dedicated to science and technology. As you can see, there are some bits and 1, 2, 3, 4 major stories and there is a question and answer section. This news is an interview with a senior scientist who says that human challenge trials will help us design better treatments, vaccines than we can now. She is trying to say that once the vaccine is tried in human beings and then it can be tried again by challenge, then it can give us two types of data where it will help the scientists to prepare a better kind of vaccine accepting all the challenges. Then we will try to look at the Sunday magazine. Sunday magazine, as the name suggests, is carried on Sunday and it is mostly not news as it happens every day, but it is about a larger scheme of things where you either catch the trend and explain them, or it is about established phenomena written by experts in a particular field, and it is also about culture, literature, music, painting, etc. So we will try to look at different parts of the magazine. The first part of the magazine, as you can see, has a very big illustration about social media. This is one of the oldest issues haunting this country is rumor. Before technology, we were all engaged in spreading rumor mouth to mouth. Now, with the use of technology, we are trying to spread things that we are not very sure of, and we are increasing the rumor quotient in the society. This is the opinion expressed in this article. It also takes some things from the hugely successful internet streaming serial about social media. It's called The Social Dilemma. Then there are bits which is like a introduction to the various articles that you will find in the magazine. So there is one, it is about what happened last week. Last week times 100. Nearly 6 persons have been featured of Indians or people of Indian origin have been featured in the Time magazine's 100 most influential people in the world. One of them is actor Ayushmann Khurrana for his different variety of roles and for his patience by working as non-acting assignments, and as an actor. Then there is a news about Taj Mahal opening up after lockdown. There is a very important news about women who have become pilots in Indian Air Force. Then there is a piece about the suspension of Rajya Sabha MPs for disrupting the Rajya Sabha. Then there is farmers project protest, and then there is charge sheet about Delhi riots, and then there is IPL. Then there is a news about a whale which got stranded in a stranding event. 380 pilot whales died on the coast of Tasmania because nearly 500 whales were stranded along the western coast of the state, and teams are now trying to rescue them. Then there is news about the death of Supreme Court judge in America, Mrs. Ruth Bader, and then there is a news about a streaming serial on Sherlock Holmes system. Now we will come to the opinion pages. There are 3 major items here, and then there is one explainer. An explainer is among the most important parts of a newspaper. This is important especially for high school students because they should not only understand only opinion about things, but they should also try to understand the 2 sides of a subject before they come to an opinion. So here there is an explainer about changes in labor laws. What does the new Industrial Relation Code say? How does it affect unions and the right to strike? So there is this article explainer in the format of a question and answer. It takes 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 important questions and tries to explain them in a very simple manner. For example, there is a background, it is called the story so far, and then what are the main features of the Industrial Relations Code? It says that the Industrial Relations Code combines features of 3 erstwhile laws: Trade Unions Act 1926, Industrial Employment Standing Orders Act 1946, and the Industrial Disputes Act 1947. It tells you how the old acts have been changed by the new government. Then there is a opinion piece about farm bills, who gains and who loses, whether the new changes in the agriculture acts they are going to help the farmers or not. And then there is an item from America, what the Hindu scores over many other newspapers is its focus on international affairs and how they affect India and how they affect the Indian diaspora spread across various countries. So this is a piece about what will happen to the vacancy in American Supreme Court after the death of Mrs. Ruth Bader. So it tells you the fight over Ruth Bader Ginsburg's replacement. Why are Democrats and Republicans squabbling? Squabbling is fighting over nomination to the US Supreme Court. It raises some important questions. This is also kind of explainer. And then there is third point about economy. Where are the funds collected through cess part? Cess is a tax on tax. It is special kind of tax laid by the central government to be collected from states, but to be spent on a very particular project, scheme or plan. So here it takes 1, 2, 3, 4 questions and tries to answer what has the Controller and Auditor General of India said about government and its practice of collecting cesses. Whether the government is collecting the cess properly and whether it is using them properly. These are questions answered here. We come to the lighter part of the Sunday magazine where there is a very hugely popular column. Actually, it is a letter stuff editor written by somebody called J. Mathrubootham. He is so popular that a few weeks when his letters did not appear, readers wrote to the newspaper asking where is Mr. Mathrubootham. So it is a very witty and humorous article. It is in the form of a letter. It speaks about elementary, Dr. Kamalam. So it is a take on Watson and Sherlock Holmes. In the Sherlock Holmes stories where he said that wherever he is trying to explain something, he says elementary, Dr. Watson. So that style is used here. Then there is a article about an adventurer who travels and treks in the Himalayas and writes about various countries and important cities. This is a story about Dehradun. Then there is a very famous Sunday quiz where every week there is a central theme to the quiz and there are different questions related to the theme. Here it is about founders of different companies. It starts with Google and there are other companies and the answers are given at the end in an inverted shape. And then there is a very famous, the Hindu crossword. As you can see, it has been going on for 3118 days. The crossword is here. There are cues to the crossword and the answer to the last week's crossword is printed at the bottom. There is also a small piece about bridge playing by Bob Jones. It's called Goran Bridge. It is a very technical issue. People who are into bridge playing will understand and people who want to get into bridge will also understand. Now there is the section about books. This is one of the most popular parts of the Hindu because the Hindu Literary Review is considered a very standard format where the newspaper invites readers to talk about their books. Reviewers are asked to introduce various books and also various books based on their popularity are ranked according to their popularity. So there is one very interesting book about the many phases of political Islam, religion and politics in Muslim societies. It is by Muhammad Ayub and Daniel N. Lucier. They are from University Michigan Press. So here the authors argue that the headline is Tying Islam to Global Politics, Surveying the Muslim World. Two authors explored popular myths around religion and its identity, rejecting the notion that it is opposite to democratic ideals. Some people argue that Islam is not aligned with democracy. Here in this very serious book, these two authors, they argue that this is a false understanding, and they try to use everyday examples to tell you how democracy and Islam have coexisted in various countries. Then there is very interesting book. It's called Tharoor's Thesaurus. It is about the practice of Mr. Shashi Tharoor, former minister and MP, of using very difficult, unpopular, or maybe those words which are not usually used by the common people to explain new concepts and old concepts. Here he has written a book about thesaurus. What is a thesaurus? Thesaurus is a elongated and elaborate dictionary. It tries to tell the reader what kinds of words are used in which context and whether they have synonyms and antonyms. Synonyms means words which have similar meaning. Antonyms means words which have opposite meaning. There it is the section language. Here the article is called A to Z of Tharoor's Richard Lexicon. The diplomat turned politician makes an idiosyncratic list of words ranging from nerds to zugwang. Lexicon means dictionary. Idiosyncratic means something which is odd but very interesting. And there he speaks about, and the reviewer speaks about the book. Here there is another article about ecology and the Western Ghats. The book is reliving the memories of an Indian forester. Memoirs of Shyam Sundar, edited by Shivacharan Someshwar. It is by Manipal Universal Press. Memoir means a recollection or memory by a writer or a storyteller. It is about a forest officer who has worked in the Western Ghats and his concerns about the reduction in our efforts in protecting our ecology and our Western Ghats forest. There at the end are 4 books ranked according to popularity, and they are introduced just in one para. For example, there is a book by Vandana Sonalika, there is a book by Narendra Jadhav, there is a book by Mamita Chitnis Sen, there is a book by Pooja Changovala about various fiction and non-fiction accounts, and they are just ranked according to their popularity. So here we have a short understanding of how to go through the newspapers. I encourage all of you to read all parts of the newspapers. Please don't restrict yourself either to the sports page or to the front page, because each page has a large amount of knowledge and information to give you, and it makes you a better human being, well educated and better prepared to not only engage in discussions and conversations but also to improve your personality. Thank you very much.